All right, hello, my friends. I think that I'm storming up another creator mind map. So, I did a previous episode of this series, and this is basically where I explore and map out the intricacies and the energetics of my creator business. At this point, it actually feels like we are moving into thinking about what do the energetics and offerings of my dream creator business look like. So, that's what I'm going to be exploring because I've had, quite a few downloads in the past few days that I want to share with you where my head is at. So, we're going to be getting into the intricacies of running a business. It seems like I'm heading towards a coaching, one-on-one support, community type business, and using my creator platforms to express my message and to find aligned people that then can go to work with me deeper. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, seeing what's going on in my mind, I'm very much in this process and committed to this process of building this business. Then come along. We're going to be talking numbers, energetics, different kinds of offerings, lots of juicy stuff in here as it pertains to the active process of what I'm figuring out as I am in the spaghetti sauce of building my business. So there's going to be a lot of thoughts, rambling, messiness. I'm saying all this because if this video feels aligned for you, let's get into it together. If not, maybe check the next video, no problem, okay? So I've got my iPad here. Let's see, can I tilt? No, we want to tilt my camera this way a little so I'm in the screen more. Okay, so in the last creator mind map, which if you'd like, you can go watch that one before. I was actually, okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a different color to kind of annotate. So in my last creator mind map, I was actually just digging inside of this small piece of what I'm about to explore with you now. I was just looking at YouTube. Within YouTube, I had all these different channels and I was trying to figure out, are they all supposed to be the same channel? What's going on here? I was starting to realize there was so much overlap between my different channels. I basically uncovered that I thought I had to compartmentalize my different interests. I had to have a skate channel, a spirituality channel, a business channel. And I started to realize in episode 1 of Creator Mind Map that they all have an intersection point, and that intersection point is me. Okay, so after going through that process, I kind of figured out that, okay, let me actually merge my channels into one channel, and that's what's happening here on this channel. And I've been showing up pretty much every day, sharing anything I want. Merging channels has been greatly freeing for my energy. Another thing that became very clarifying is I also do this product review side hustle. During that creator mind map, I was thinking, should that all merge together? But actually, that product review side hustle has quickly and clearly become very separate from what I'm trying to do here, which is build my personal brand that I'm continuously calling creative freedom or creative freedom coaching, creative freedom mentorship, whatever. My purpose and mission seems to be creative freedom. This is the direction I'm starting to go, okay? And one of the reasons that I'm starting to think about what is my dream business going to look like I shared in the previous video that I posted, and also when I posted this video called It's Becoming Impossible to Be Anyone But Myself, I've been doing this product review side hustle for 1.5 years now. It's a very long time. Being committed for that long has proven to pay off. It's paying money. It's helping take some pressure off. But I'm starting to feel this soul misalignment with that project. I'm starting to really dread doing it. I keep being pushed towards my purpose, pushed to follow my dreams. This is happening more and more as I've been staying on top of my meditation practice, staying sober, keeping in touch with mentors and community, this sort of thing. It's like, yeah, I'm becoming clear, more and more clear on my values and what I want to spend my time, energy, and money doing. And it seems like I'm really being pushed into the direction of building my dream business of, spreading creative freedom throughout the world. I also, before I keep diving into this, I wanted to read something that, kind of spontaneously poured out onto my Instagram story this morning, because it kind of touches on why I'm sharing so openly about the business that I'm building. So let me just read this word for word. God keeps telling me to teach real time in the moment as I'm in the process of figuring things out, essentially to think out loud and to show my work. This is tough for my ego because figuring it out is a messy process. It's extremely vulnerable. I have to admit that I'm not totally sure. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm venturing into the unknown and taking risks. My ego would like to hide all of that and act like I have it all figured out / put together. However, this act is becoming increasingly painful for me to put up on a deep soul level. Trying to put on this act depletes my energy into the negative. Meanwhile, if I teach from the truth of where I'm at, I seem to be able to access an infinite outpouring of love and energy, so I continue to lean in. Basically, that's the same thing I'm saying. I'm very passionate about what I'm building here, and it's so natural for me to share everything as I'm learning it. And I don't know if I'm going to succeed, but this is what the outpouring is. I remember as I was, starting to step into a coaching mentorship business in the past, really stepping into being a leader and a teacher, I thought that if I didn't pretend and act like I had everything figured out, that nobody would want to work with me and learn from me. What I'm realizing that I wrote about in that Instagram story is that for me, being totally honest and actually sharing my process and what I'm actually doing and the thinking behind it, being open about my uncertainties, what I'm not sure about, what I think might be the right direction, but I'm not so sure yet, and the things I'm debating between. This is really, I love teaching this way. I love it because it's just right from my open heart, right from my experience as I'm learning it, as I'm experimenting on this process with you, showing my process. So, in Creator Mind Map episode 1, after sharing all that, so much more clarity came in by sharing all that. It's funny because I was scrolling on Threads this morning. Maybe I'll just come up here while we're chatting. I was scrolling on Threads this morning and I saw some business advice, and the advice was to, keep your plans private, make your decisions in private. And yeah, I've heard that advice a lot, move silently, all of this, but it just doesn't work for me. I actually really like to think out loud. When I create and post these videos and kind of even see what the response is and what, just see what happens in my own mind and in other people's minds after I do this sort of video, I feel like I get this surge in clarity. It's like how I take the next step. So I'm leaning into what's working for me. This continues to be a difficult but very rewarding practice for me. So let's keep getting into what I'm seeing. Right, so I was describing how in the last Creator Mind Map, I was just zooming in on this piece, and I really hadn't yet fully embraced my multifaceted self on one channel. But then I fully leaned into that. It all merged. I really unlocked and had this transition into an immense creative freedom, not only on YouTube, but on every social media platform. Basically, I just started letting every idea that came in go right out onto my YouTube channel, on Instagram, on my newsletter, on Threads. I've been using Threads a lot, on TikTok. I have been completely letting go of needing validation, needing high view counts, letting go of attachment to follower counts. All of this, everything has just been pouring out of my heart. It has been wild. This is what I've been getting after for a long time. And now that I'm here, this piece here is clarifying. Okay, so I used to kind of have this idea that I had to figure out YouTube, or I had to figure out Instagram, or figure out my newsletter. And once I figured that out, that was going to save me, or that was going to be what works for me, Now I'm starting to realize all of these social media platforms, and here I have my personal primary ones: YouTube, Instagram, newsletter, Threads, and TikTok. All of these are I'm realizing they're kind of serving the same purpose, which is just they're platforms for creativity, and they're platforms for me to kind of put that message out there. Okay. These are here for me to put my authentic message out there. Another thing I'll say is, once I unlocked this creative freedom on all of these platforms, I accessed literally an infinite energy to share on all of these as much as I want. I don't even have a schedule right now, but I'm pretty sure I've basically been daily, weekly to weekly at the least, on all of these, which is wild. It's just been coming out, like I said. And so I'm starting to really, really believe in creative freedom, right? So I've done a lot of inner work on myself. I did a 200-hour meditation teacher training. I've done a lot of creating content on social media. I built an entire successful influencer business. I burnt out. I watched it crumble to the ground as I embraced a new way. I went into fear. I became brave. I went into fear. I became brave again and again and again, trying to break out of my niche, breaking out of my niche, going back into a fear hole, shame attack, fear, trying again. Ended up investing in a business coach, really wanting to go in this new direction of creative freedom. Dove into coaching, started working with clients, had amazing experiences, went back into fear, thought it was all a pipe dream, thought it was all fake, thought I had nothing to offer. Okay, I've been through a lot, and I finally reached a point where I'm like, whoa. Through what I've figured out on this journey is very, very profound. And I know it's profound because I feel it in my heart, and I'm living it in my own experience. So I'm like, okay, what I'm sharing, I understand the value of it. Okay, so now these social media platforms, they're no longer about validation at all whatsoever. They're not about high view counts. They are not about ad revenue. They are not about brand deals. In the previous video, I talked about how I'm done with brand deals on these channels. Now it is because I believe in something and I want to share it with people. So very, very different purpose. And for the first time in my life, I understand what a business funnel is. Okay, I never understood this. I thought it was like some marketing hack or whatever to get people to buy your stuff. And I think that's one way you can look at it, but I'm realizing it's actually a very beautiful and natural thing. Okay, so I have now a divine mission, is to spread this idea and philosophy and my method of achieving creative freedom. So here at the top of my funnel across all these social media platforms, I get to share a little taste of that message, right? It's like the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole journey, a whole lot in my mind about this creative freedom. But on social media, I get to beam out my essence, and people who need that message, who align with that message, can find it. Okay, so it is the top of a funnel. Okay, that's all it is. Another way that I've been framing it is it's like a free community or even a free service, because I believe in it so much that pouring all this energy and expression out into the world, I actually believe is good for the world. So it's so I've kind of been framing it as free service. And yeah, it is like a community. It's like like-minded people can kind of take safe haven in my content, in my public content. And it is like this free container that the public can see and witness and enter into if they want to. Okay. Then, going deeper into what my dream business is starting to look like, and I'm also going to point on pieces that I'm still trying to work out the energy of. So I just decided that I'm going to offer free meditations. So I've had a Patreon community. I started Patreon a long time ago because I was already several years ago trying to achieve creative freedom. And I thought, okay, I'll start a Patreon. I can do exclusive content there. This monetary support will help me be able to create freely. I'll be able to let go of the content that's performing well. I'll be able to embrace what I want to create. I won't have to worry about, brand deals so much if I could get enough Patrons in my community. So that was kind of the way I did that for a long time. It ended up like being a place where I shared my spiritual podcast privately on Patreon, kind of created this community container. And I really wanted it to, grow so that I could make more money, so that I could lean into my passion and my purpose. But it never quite worked. It never quite worked. And that's not to say I'm not grateful for all my patrons over the years. I certainly am. But there was something subtly off. And I think really what I see now is I was trying too hard to make all of my money from an offering that I wasn't supposed to make all of my money from. Or I wasn't yet ready. I didn't see the value of what I was discovering, or I hadn't fully discovered it yet. It just wasn't working to make all of my money from this community. And just the other day I had this this download came out of nowhere, just telling me do free meditations on Patreon. Okay, and just when I had the idea, I felt so free in my energy. So I started doing free or by donation weekly stillness sessions. So this freed up my energy in multiple ways because on Patreon, I kept trying to there's a few things I could say about it. Basically, what this will come together as I finish this video. I was trying to express the deeper, if you think about this funnel, I was trying to express the parts all the way deepest parts of my mind in my Patreon community. And that wasn't necessarily energetically the correct move. Okay, so I was going all the way into the deepest part of my mind, how I figured things out, how I figured things out, how I'm figuring things out. This creative freedom philosophy, this triangle that I still need to make a video about, was starting to come together, and I was trying to express it there, and it was too much. It was too much. There was a misalignment. That wasn't what that platform was meant for. This download made so much make sense. Okay. First of all, I felt so much freedom not having to charge money to teach meditation. So being able to teach meditation for free once a week, it's good for my heart. It feels good to do. It feels good to teach because I believe it's very helpful. It feels good for the world, and it keeps me regularly close to the work that I love to do. I'm showing up, regardless of whether or not I'm able to get clients for my business, I'm showing up doing something good for myself and doing something good for other people that I believe in wholeheartedly every single week. So there's no completely going back into a fear hole. Like, I'm showing up, I'm doing this thing. I have this free container. If you want it, come and get it. Okay. So this not forcing this to be paid really freed me up. Okay. And immediately that made me feel more comfortable. So we're going down the funnel here, right? So people, I don't like that box. So people who, see my message, they vibrate with my energy here on social media. They can come down this funnel if they want to. They can go deeper with me. And one way to do that is totally for free by joining the free stillness sessions that I host once a week. Okay. So again, just to reiterate, this feels good internally and it frees up my energy because I feel like I'm actually doing something good for the world. I don't feel like I'm being selfish. I don't feel like I need to like try to make everyone pay me, who it's just, there's a lot of people out there. You know what? Shoot, I might have to just draw my creative freedom thing. Let me just do it. It's pretty simple, actually. So this is the philosophy I'm developing on the holistic path to creative freedom. This is just another download that came out of nowhere. I mean, it took years to develop. This is basically my vision for achieving creative freedom. Consume less here. Inner work here. Create more here. You need to open up space, consume less, do less mindless consumption, less bad habits. In that space, you can do inner work, meditation, faith, etc. You could start to realize your innate wholeness. You start to heal. You do inner work, you start to heal yourself. You start to realize you're enough, you're more than enough. You combine inner work and consuming less. You open up creative freedom. Your inner work starts pouring over. It becomes natural to express your gifts, your unique expression. It becomes natural to express yourself, and often with the people who resonate with me, it becomes very natural to try to help other people. Okay, so you enter creative freedom mode when you have this whole triangle together. I always like to point out mentors and community. In addition to doing these individual practices, these interdependent pieces, that happens, in your own mind, doing your own creative practice. Mentors and community, I've noticed, add a lot of reinforcement to this triangle. Okay, so you stay in creative freedom mode. That's when you can help others, express your gifts, try to build a dream business like I'm doing. Creating on multiple platforms becomes effortless. You're more fulfilled, more peaceful, more present, all of this. I hope that was in the frame as I was drawing it. If it wasn't, here it is. And I apologize for that if that was out of frame. But the stillness sessions are just a little sliver in this piece, okay? Just like, for example, like my YouTube knowledge and like how to reach your people on YouTube, that's just a little sliver in this piece, okay? So I was developing this whole thing, which I'm coming to understand is very, very, very infinitely life-changing and valuable. I'm saying this with conviction because it's from my own experience, my own trials and errors. I've learned this and I feel it. I was basically trying to stuff all of that into Patreon. But a lot of the people that I attracted on Patreon, and I'm not trying to make assumptions or generalizations, I'm just sharing observations, and I'm always taking a close look at my energy. A lot of the people I attracted there were just, needing this meditation piece, right? And I was there at a certain point. I just needed that inner work piece. I needed to connect to peace, learn to be present, learn to escape the noise in my mind. That's all I needed, And I'm on there talking about, oh, you got to create. Here's how you make your business, right? My energy was way off, okay? So this created a lot of freedom, and it also freed me immensely energetically to being open to being paid for the deeper, bigger picture. Okay. So I recently started the Creative Freedom community, right? And this is currently $17 per month. Now something just beeped in my headphones and distracted me. I started the Creative Freedom community before I kind of hit this snapping point where the side hustle stuff became very difficult, before I realized I wanted to slow that down, essentially. So I started it at $9 a month. 10 people joined, at which point my plan was to raise the price. So it's now $17 per month to join that community. But now that I'm like, oof, I feel like God, please, I keep being embarrassed about saying that, but I feel like God is pushing me to go all in on my purpose now, which I'm very terrified to do, but I'm feeling the push. And I wasn't feeling this way when I started the community. I just keep listening to the downloads. I wanted to start the community. If you go back in my videos, I actually started promoting it as a way to teach the side hustle. So this shows the importance for me of listening to my downloads and not judging them, because all of this action is leading me to this point. Messy action is keeping me in the flow of life. It's revealing more and more and more clarity. But I wasn't doing the mathematics about how do I turn this into a living, right? Because as an entrepreneur, yes, I believe in this mission, creative freedom, but I'm also interested in being able to pay my bills. Okay. So, if I get 100, oops, I didn't mean to undo. Let me go to green. Let me just show you the math I'm thinking in my head. If I get 100 members at $17 a month, that's not enough to pay my bills. So one idea is to quickly jump this price to 97. So 97 times 30 members, which, that seems achievable. That doesn't seem impossible. It's going to take a lot of work and conversations and all of that. That's almost $3,000 a month, at which point, personally, that's plenty for me to live on. I don't need a lot of money at all. So that's one path, but the path that I've been deeply, deeply considering, leaning into more is the one-on-one mentorship. Now, I've done extended container one-on-one mentorship before, and it was very, very beautiful. And I'm out of my fear hole. I'm beginning to understand the value of this. So suddenly I feel unafraid to offer a deeper, more extensive one-on-one mentorship container for anyone who could use it. And I'm forgetting to look at the screen. So I hope I'm not completely missing it. So just to do the mathematics of this, let's say I offer a 6-month mentorship container with 22 calls, daily texting, whatever it looks like, where I'm, intensely pouring in mentorship, support, guidance, accountability, coaching to achieve this creative freedom. One client per month, an aligned person who wants to do this work with me with no manipulative sales tactics. This is the work I'm doing. Are you interested? One client per month equals that 3,000. Okay, and if we talk about 2, then it's 6, and then I can dedicate my entire life force energy to what I believe my purpose is. So that's why right now what I'm really, really working with is, what do I focus on? Can I keep this here, keep this community here priced per month, and bring it up to the price that I believe it's worth? Or do I just make it free? Do I just make it free, continue hosting these weekly calls, and do sort of a stillness session situation where this is for the heart, for the world, stay close to the work, and it wouldn't be about money necessarily. So I'm debating between these two paths, and I'm curious which path would free my energy the most? Which one would be the most aligned for me? I'm getting very intrigued by this one-on-one mentorship. I don't think that this option keeping the monthly membership paid, and this option, I don't think those have to be mutually exclusive. Like, I don't think the community has to be free in order for me to dive into this. I think some people will want this intensive mentorship as opposed to this more community-based coaching model because it's a different experience. I also brushed over this. Someone in my Creative Freedom School community actually suggested I simply get rid of one-off sessions, which I kind of agree with. I think it's maybe just a distraction from my quickest and most direct path to making a sustainable income, so I don't have to worry about that anymore, and then I can just pour all of my energy into teaching what I believe, which is this. And each individual will need a different balance of support with this, and support with this. There's so much in Create More, obviously, using social media, pushing through fears, perfectionism, people pleasing. But there's so much in this too. It's so juicy, guys. There's so much stuff. All right. So that seems to be where I'm at. That's my mind map of building the energetics and offerings of my dream aligned creator business that puts me on my purpose. The biggest thing is I'm debating between, I gotta say in this moment, I'm leaning towards both. Make the community 97, open myself to deep one-on-one mentorship. Because if I move this into free, I'm worried about overextending myself. But I do love that work, but that worry is there about overextending myself and not pouring from a full cup. If I'm doing so many things for free, but a meditation and a creative freedom call a week is not too much. I do have one mentor who really advocates for this kind of a model. So his voice is in my head. If you'd like to go deeper with me on any of this, I offer creative freedom coaching. You can reach out to me using the links in the description. If you'd be interested in this, do let me know. If you're interested in this, do let me know. Now the price, when you check, it might be this and it might be this. And it might be this, but I don't think I'm there yet. There's some force that's pushing me towards this. And I have been pouring a lot of energy into this group. Like, I'm very available, even on a one-on-one basis so far, unless I need to watch my energy and watch for overextension. But if someone's paying me $97 a month in a community container, I'm going to be motivated to put a lot there. But then I think that begs the question, right? Does that take my energy away from the path that could lead to an immediately sustainable income? Because if I make this free, then I'm not thinking about monetizing that at all. So all my energy of monetization goes towards this. And again, one person is a significant amount of money that creates more freedom in my energy space. So I'm in deep, as you could see, deep consideration about what to do next. And, my plan today is to really take a load off this weekend, enjoy the weekend, don't worry about it, see what clarity may come in the stillness. And I'm curious to see what kind of feedback may come back from me posting this video. All right, so thanks for watching Creator Mind Map episode 2. I'm super curious to see where this will continue to go over time. Another thing I should have mentioned, do let me know and check the links if you're interested in the Creative Freedom community or a one-on-one mentorship. Also, please join our stillness sessions. I hosted my first one on Friday, this morning, and it was a beautiful start to the day to connect to peace, stillness, and surrender. So lovely. So thanks all for watching. This video is going to give me a panic feeling about should I post it because it's so messy, so vulnerable. But again, I keep being guided to continue leaning into this. And I keep being shown that clarity comes from leaning into the mess and thinking out loud, like I was sharing earlier. So I have motivation to continue going with my gut here. So I think I'm probably will follow up on posting this. Thanks so much for watching. Looking forward to your thoughts in the comments. Ways to connect and work with me are in the description, and I'll catch you soon. Lots of love.